Hey Psych2Go fam, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for all of the love and support that you've given us. Psych2Go's mission is to make psychology and mental health more accessible to everyone, and you help us do that. Now, let's begin. An anxious avoidant relationship is one in which one person has an anxious attachment to another person who is avoidant. Anxious attachment generally comes from a place of seeking out closeness and intimacy with others. This person tries very hard to avoid rejection and abandonment. On the other hand, the avoidant person seeks a level of emotional distance that conflicts with their anxiously attached partner. Relationships like this are difficult to navigate when both partners have different and conflicting desires. Before we begin, here is a quick reminder that this video is for informative purposes only and should not be taken as relationship advice. If you relate to this video, please reach out to a relationship counselor or other professional for help. With that said, let's go over 5 signs of an anxious avoidant relationship. 1. Feelings of suffocation. When you are anxiously attached to someone, you may feel an intense need to be close to them. You seek out ways to get closer and feel elated when you do. However, the avoidant partner may start to feel overwhelmed by the other person's intense desire to be near them. While the anxious partner wants closeness, the avoidant partner seeks distance. Too much closeness can cause the avoidant partner to feel suffocated. 2. Feelings of abandonment. While feeling suffocated is associated with the avoidant partner, abandonment is more of an issue for the anxious partner. The avoidant partner requires a certain level of independence and emotional distance from the other. This can be problematic for the anxious partner, since it bars their desire to be close. They may feel that their efforts are no longer successful and that their partner is slowly drifting away from them. Number 3, concern over the relationship being one-sided. The anxious partner may feel that the relationship is one-sided. They feel that the other person isn't putting in as much effort into the relationship as they are. This issue can crop up especially during a conflict where one person wants to get closer and work through a problem, but the other person wants to keep their distance. This may lead to an issue where one starts to antagonize the other. 4. Feelings of instability. The anxious avoidant relationship does lend itself to feelings of relationship instability. If you are the anxious one, you feel that your partner is becoming distant and uninterested. If you are the avoidant person, you feel that your partner is too clingy and high maintenance. Neither one can get what they want out of each other, and this causes mutual feelings of dissatisfaction. This can become an increasingly toxic situation and cause you two to lash out at each other in misunderstanding. And number 5, emotional toxicity. An anxious avoidant relationship is considered toxic. You want different things out of each other and may find yourselves fighting about meaningless topics. It can be antagonistic, and you might place the problems of your relationship on one another. You and your partner's needs are incompatible with one another. This makes it extremely difficult to work through and resolve relationship complications. Did you find this video helpful? Did it help you recognize any anxious, avoidant personality traits in some of your present relationships? Toxic relationships are difficult to navigate, so it's important to reach out to someone you trust if you think you need help. If you found this video helpful, please like it and share the video with others. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more Psych2Go content. The references and studies used are added in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.
Your future will open up in a big way if you don't stand first in the school. You really can look around, what can I do with my life? Form teams of 5 people, all of them give tuitions in each subject for themselves. People are approaching every aspect of life like this. Exam means they're having runs. I know this very well because my brother was running a pharmacy in Mysore, and examination means everybody comes anti-diarrheal medicine and go to the exam because otherwise they'll shit in the examination hall. Why is… And the same thing happens to them if they're going for a job, the same thing happens to them if they're getting married, the same thing happens They just shit scared of everything That is because unprepared, isn't it? The only reason you're nervous about something… I was just talking to a few people around me. Last 3 times we hired a helicopter here, the 3 different pilots. I'm just looking at them, they're so horribly nervous. Put in 3,000 hours of flying, I'm just 100-hour pilot. With great joy I fly without an element of anything. But to a point where when my instructor in United States was interviewed by one of our people, what do you think about Sadhguru? Has he been a good student for you and all that stuff? One thing he said was, my only concern about him is, he doesn't seem to be afraid of death. They asked, what do you mean by that? Said, even if we turn off the engine, he's smiling and doing what he has to do. This is one of the big things in a helicopter is auto-rotation. That is, you turn off the engine and come down without the engine and land, preparing for an emergency always. To make you understand what it involves is, in the training craft that we fly, if the engine goes off, for you to realize, see, realization takes some time. You're flying and flying, if the engine fails, for you to know the engine has failed to register, it may take 2-3 seconds. Because the rotor is still making noise, only a certain level of vibration is gone and the meters fall, of course. But if you don't observe the meters and if you're talking to somebody and you miss the vibration, you don't even know it's failed, but it gives you only a maximum of 7 seconds. 7 seconds is all you have to do 3 important maneuvers. If you don't do those 3 important maneuvers in those 7 seconds, you are as good as a dead man. You can enjoy the last flight. So when you're flying without warning, one of the trainings is they turn off the engine. So I just do what I have to do and I get very excited when the engine's finished. And I did over 100 landings like that. So he said, I'm really scared for him because he has no fear. I said, this was my father's problem also, not just yours. My father used to knock his head and say, this boy has no fear in his heart, what will happen to him? I never understood why. Why is fear a qualification? Why is fear a qualification? Awareness is a qualification, alertness is a qualification, knowledge is a qualification. Why is fear a qualification? So if you're shit scared of your exam, you're going to do well, is it? You're shit scared of going for an interview, you're supposed to do well, is it? You're shit scared of getting married, you're supposed to do well. I see people approaching everything like this. What is the point? So this is because somebody thinks, board exam, what will happen in my future? Your future will open up in a big way if you don't stand first in the school, because then there'll be many opportunities. If you get 99%, you'll end up in a medical college. Or if you get 90%, you'll end up in an engineering college. If you get 65%, your life opens up. You really can look around, what can I do with my life? Now all the teachers are suffering, Sadhguru is destroying the whole school. Those of you who are going for 12th standard examination and 10th standard examination, I want you, whether the teachers do it or not, forget about that. I want the students to complete your syllabi and be ready for the exam by the end of October. Okay? By the end of October, you must be able to write your exam comfortably. If you're a little shit scared, be shit scared in October. We'll give you one more in November. You'll handle it little easy, without a tablet you can go. December we'll do 2 more examinations, do it. January you just play, February you just look around a little bit in the book. Last year of school, enjoy yourself. When the examination comes in March, you just go there and already you've done this 5 times. So by December, you must be bored writing the same exam 5 times. So you're ready for the board exam. 12th standard, 10th standard, form teams of 5 people. They must learn together. Make the teams in such a way, people who are good in different subjects are together. All of them give tuitions in each subject for themselves and the teachers help them. See, learning, for any human being, when you learn something new, when you realize something that you did not know, does it give you joy or pain? It should give you joy, isn't it? It's natural for human intellect. If you grasp something that you did not know, it makes you joyful. Why is it being approached so painfully? Board exam, if you know, will you write it wrong? No. Only if you're just trying to remember for the exam, you could write it wrong. Trying to remember for the examination means you are a bloody cheat. You understand? You just want to remember, fool people for a day and say, I am pass, and then you don't know anything. You have learned deception. Don't start your life with deception. It's not good. That's not a good foundation for your life. Just somehow getting 100 marks, just because for one day you remembered something and vomited it on the paper, is this not deception? Just defeating the purpose of education, isn't it? We know something, that's why we must move to the next class. Not because we somehow tricked the examiner, so we move to the next class. What does it mean in our lives? It doesn't mean anything. Do not start your life on deception. It doesn't matter who thinks what about you. The important thing is you maintain your fundamental integrity in your life. This is very important for a human being, believe me. This is not about deceiving somebody, this is not about being better than somebody. This is, I'm here, I'll make the best use of my time when I'm here. I'll do my best. That's all. It doesn't matter somebody approves it or disapproves it. And no 2 human beings have come alike. Somebody may be a backbencher in the high school, but he may be frontbencher in life. So that is not the deciding factor. At every place in our life, from school to college to profession, let's not keep on thinking and having joy that somebody is behind us or somebody is below us. Why should you enjoy somebody else's failure? If you enjoy your first rank, that's all it means, isn't it? Yes or no? You're enjoying somebody's failure, that is sickness. You must enjoy what you know. You must enjoy your exploration. You enjoy your fulfillment of longing to know. This is what you should enjoy, not being one up on somebody else.
Hello friends, Scott St. Marie here with yet another episode on the Depression to Expression podcast. Nice of you to join me. I hope you think of me as maybe some kind of companion. I just love sharing ideas with you, perspectives. These things pop in my mind throughout the day, so I grab the microphone and I just like to express a few things with you throughout the weeks and months. And if you're new to the podcast, feel free to scroll down, check out all these amazing episodes. Man, I really appreciate all your support, everyone, for watching my YouTube videos, checking me out on Instagram, sending me emails. I love you, and we're all in this together. So you know where to find me if ever you want to get in touch, because we got to support each other. Well, not just through COVID, but geez, long before and long after. Life is one windy road. One hell of a road, isn't it? Nod with me. Yeah! Woo! Man, have you been up some mountains? And have you been down in some valleys, haven't you? You know that musty, humid smell when you're in the pit. And when you're climbing up that mountain and you reach the peak, oh man, does that air smell fresh and the sun beating down on us. It's such a beautiful thing. And before you know it, well, we're climbing back down and we're in the pit again. But then before you know it, we're back at the top of the peak and we're enjoying that sunshine once again. That's life, man. Ups and downs, peaks and valleys, smiles and frowns, anger, resentment, jealousy, curiosity, happiness, joy. It's all in there. You can't get through life without having that amazing loot bag of emotion and pain and suffering and grieving, complete contentment and peace, then followed by complete astonishment and devastation of what life actually means, this existential feeling of hell. That's what you get. That's the package. That's the contract you signed by coming into this world. That's it. There's no real choice. No matter how happy you are, you can meditate for 30,000 hours every day, if that were possible. And you could do all of the therapy in the world, and you could have the cleanest and best diet and exercise regime, and you'd still feel it. You'd still feel gloomy on those gloomy days. You'd still feel sad when you lose someone you love. You'd still have these existential questions of what's my purpose, what should I do in life, which way should I go? You'd feel lonely sometimes. You'd feel happy sometimes. You'd feel angry sometimes. You'd feel excited sometimes. That's all in the package. Nod with me now. You agree that's all in the package, and you already know it is because you've experienced a lot of that spectrum of emotion so far in your life. But let's talk about one word today. Let's talk about resistance. Have you been resisting something as of late? And we all do this to some degree because, as I just explained, life is full of pain, full of ups and downs. And what happens is we know how bad those downs are. I know how bad those downs are. So we want to do whatever we can to resist that. To not go into that pit again. To not go back to where we once were. So we run away. We resist. We suppress. We compress instead of express. So we push it down. We push it down. No, I don't want to think about that right now. Okay, I'm just going to stay busy at work. No, I don't want to do that right now. I'm just going to do something else. Okay, I don't want to think about that. I'm just going to watch TV, okay? I don't want to do that right now. I'm just going to have a few drinks. I don't want to think about that right now. It's too boring. It's too dumb. I'm just going to smoke some weed. We resist. We run away. Instead of embracing, we run away. Instead of hugging, we push away. We've become hardened. What's this hard exterior we've all created around us? It's because we want to run away from pain. We don't want to experience hurt again. So rather than be vulnerable with others and ourselves, we just create these layers after layer of resistance, another layer of resistance. And in society, we call that strength. This armor we create for ourselves, we call it strength. We call it being a badass. No one can fuck with me. No. I wouldn't call it weakness either. I'd just call it being human and doing what we do. We avoid pain and we seek pleasure. That's what we do. But as you all know that no matter how hard you try, there's going to be pain and there's going to be pleasure. This is the yin and yang, man. This is the order and the chaos. So instead of resisting one side, instead of resisting the sadness, the depression, the pain, the anger, What if we didn't resist it? What if we expressed it in other healthier ways? What if we noticed these things? What if we listened to what our bodies and minds were trying to tell us? And you know that's my story in a nutshell. I resisted for so long. I had to take medication. And once off medication, you realize the feelings that come up within our minds and bodies that I've had to adjust to for the last 8 months. Like, you may have seen my YouTube videos and previous podcasts about a little bit of the journey of getting off antidepressants, and it's been okay. But there's been the hardest times of my life. And I've shared that with friends and family. I don't necessarily share that publicly, but guys, it hasn't been an easy road. But what makes it harder is if I resist these things. If I resist sadness, if I resist pain, if I keep trying to solve problems and seek solutions without even figuring out what's wrong in the first place. Listening. Put the resistance away. Because what happens when we resist? What happens? We push it down, we run away, we stay busy, we drink, we watch TV. It comes back 10 times as strong a week later, a month later, 5 years later. What happens if you feel right now? And don't get me wrong, my friend. It's scary. It's scary to feel that. I hear you. I know. It's scary to sit in a quiet room with your thoughts and see what comes up. But you're just that much closer to having this unrestricted, free-flowing existence. We always try to stay busy, stay occupied, and up to a point that's really important. Our minds can't stay idle. We need to stay busy. We need to do work. We need to contribute. But at what cost? Have you stopped and listened to what your body and mind have been telling you? Sometimes the truth may be uncomfortable. That's okay. Sometimes the solution, after thinking about certain things and feeling what you feel and taking a moment without the TV, without a podcast on, without the radio on, without distractions, sitting and feeling, a solution may come up that you just never thought possible. You've given your body space. You've given thought some space. You've given your mind some distance between each thought. Take a breath. Let it go. Stop resisting. You can handle it. You can deal with it. Your track record for beating those bad days and getting in those pits is 100%. That's not a bad track record. That's pretty good. I don't think there's one better. You've gotten through 100% of those bad days, those intrusive thoughts, those worries, those anxious moments, those depressed moments, those suicidal thoughts. You're still here. How about that one? Think of that. So you can go into it again. Let go of the resistance. Feel what you feel. So that's maybe part 2 of this podcast. So what would happen if you didn't resist and felt what you felt? Feel what you feel. Isn't that a sad story today that right when we feel something other than happiness, we feel guilty about it? Maybe it's the self-help gurus, maybe it's Hollywood, maybe it's all of these things that we see in mainstream media and online and social media. But if we feel anything other than happiness and gratitude, we feel shame. Shame on me for having a bad day even though I have food in my fridge. Shame on me for not exercising today because I should be disciplined and I'm just a mess up. Shame on me for being sad and angry. Shame on me for being depressed and anxious. Shame on me for not having the courage to reach out for someone to help me. Let me tell you something straight up. Whatever you're feeling right now, and I don't care what you're thinking of at this moment. I don't care what you're feeling at this moment. It can be anything. It doesn't matter. You can be having a suicidal thought right now. You could be having a thought where you just don't want to be around anymore. You can have a thought of self-harm right now. You can have a thought and worrying about the future right now. Let me tell you something. It's okay. Breathe with me now. Inhale. Exhale. It doesn't matter what the thought is that's going through your mind. If you're feeling some anxiety, some guilt, some remorse, some sadness, some frustration, it's okay to feel that. Now, why would I say feeling some type of negative emotion is okay? My friend, think about it. Why be upset? Why shame yourself? Why feel guilty about what you're actually feeling in this very moment? It doesn't do you any good because that's exactly what's happening right now. Let's start where you are right now. Let's not resist. Let's not compress. Let's not suppress. Let's be okay with feeling anything, with thinking anything, because that's exactly what you're experiencing. And we don't want to downplay what you're experiencing. We don't want to shame you for what you're experiencing. We don't even want to say it's wrong what you're experiencing. It's not wrong if that's exactly what you're experiencing. Do you feel me? Say, Whatever you're thinking, it's okay. Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. Now afterwards, this is what I do with people one-on-one and in groups. As we talk about these emotions that come with anxious feelings and thinking and worrying and projecting ourselves in the future and social anxiety and depression and feeling low and worthless with low self-esteem, we start with saying, okay, that's where we are right now. That's the field where we're playing the game. That's all right. That's all right. Let's take a breath. Let's notice that. And now let's figure out, well, what are these feelings maybe trying to tell us? If anything. Can we take these thoughts seriously right now? Or is it just because there's some kind of circumstance around us and we shouldn't really dig deep into these at the moment? But you start with no resistance. You start with respecting yourself enough to listen to what your body's telling you, to try to understand what these feelings and thoughts are saying. You respect yourself enough to feel it, because your body demands it from you. I've always wanted to do a podcast episode about this because I was always a solution seeker. And I never wanted to feel anything but joy, anything but happiness. And maybe when you're young, it's pretty easy to do that because life is freaking awesome. You know, just playing sports, video games, hanging out with friends. But then as you get older, you realize that death is a thing, and loss is a thing, and heartbreak is a thing, and life comes at you. And you can't resist these things. The only thing we can do is embrace them, accept them for what they are. That's the package deal with life, my friends. So, what I'd like to challenge you, maybe for the next week until I upload the next episode, and make sure you subscribe so then you figure out part 2 and what this is all about, this challenge. This week, just practice. Next time you feel something other than happiness, other than maybe peace, stop distracting yourself for a moment and just take stock very gently. take note of what you're feeling. And whatever you're feeling, even if it's happiness, even if it's sadness, and take note, whatever you're feeling, if that's happiness, if that's sadness, if that's loneliness, you tell yourself in that moment, okay, I feel a little lonely. And that's okay right now. So we're practicing a little bit of self-respect here. We're practicing a little bit of self-care in that way. Why be your own worst enemy? Because I know that happens. People can say they love us and they're there for us, but if we don't admit that inside that we love us, well, it doesn't matter what other people are saying. You need to believe it yourself. So this is a shame-free week for you. That no matter what you feel and think, you're going to say, that's okay right now. That's okay to feel what I'm feeling. It's okay to think what I'm thinking. I'll see you in the next episode. Hope to see you on Instagram and YouTube, and feel free to send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Stay strong, my friend. Keep being you. And don't forget to express yourself. Bye.